Hello and welcome everyone to the Warhammer Meta Chasers. This is your live each and every Thursday, asterisks, most Thursdays, tournament rundown show coming up, hyping up the biggest and best Warhammer 40,000 tournaments coming up over the weekend. My name is Paul, joined by Adam Camilleri.
G'day, everybody.
And Dustin Henshaw.
Hello.
How are y'all doing in the chat? I hope y'all doing okay. Getting into the, probably the warmer times, but I guess it depends on what side of the planet you're on, right?
It's warmer where you are, isn't it, Adam?
No, it's pretty cold right now, actually.
No.
It's but cold for us. We won't be seeing snow or anything.
45
but it's pretty
degrees
miserable
Celsius
outside.
or something?
No, it's actually around the mid-teens.
Ooh.
That's Celsius, though, right?
Is that
Yeah,
Celsius?
yeah,
That's
I don't know what that means.
Bro, that's
like
short sweater. Come on.
40 or 50 something. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. Well, anyway, thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. We have 3 great events to talk about. This is kind of a slow weekend as far as tournaments go, but plenty of things to talk about all over the world. We got some kind of what we say 50, 60 player events coming up. I guess this is going to jump into it. If that's all right with y'all.
Yeah, exactly right. And of course, at Motor Separanda, when we don't have, slobber knockers, multiple 100-player slobber knockers, we will do our best to give a bit of spot coverage all over the world and make sure we're bringing you guys content from every corner of this great community.
If you were just listening to us on the podcast aggregators, know that we do this live each and every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. You come check us out, be part of the amazing chat community. It is so great to see y'all in chat right now. Nurgle Matt, downvoting people, Zach, Sindri, coming in from Atlanta, if I remember right. KR, how are y'all doing? Hope everybody's doing all right. Thanks for joining us for the live show. Let's go ahead and jump into this with the Corsair Open, 64 players out of Munich, Germany. A 6-round event. I actually like this, number of players and the number of rounds they're playing. I kind of in my mind imagine players weaving in and out of potential rivalries.
Yeah, and if you hit the podium, you have to go through the strongest part of the field. Yeah, undeniably.
That's what we love to see because it's that perfect number of one. You can have one defeated. Doesn't mean you will. Things will happen. Draws happen, and it's always exciting to see that too. But yeah, you'll be weaving in and out all these rivalries specifically. You'll have to go through them. You have to, unless you get really lucky and they get knocked out before you. Maybe they draw.
That's the dream, though. Is
That's
to
the dream.
line up the perfect list that you're suited to face, and then you don't encounter your nemesis over the course of the weekend. But I don't know. It's also could be fun to encounter your nemesis over the course of the weekend. What are we going to see there, faction-wise?
Faction-wise, for the Imperial Super Faction, we'll be seeing 5 Sisters of Battle, 1 Custode, 1 Astral Militarum, and 3 Grey Knights. Space Marines, there's going to be 3 Adeptus Astartes, 2 Space Wolves, 5 Blood Angels, 1 Death Watch. Chaos, there's 3 Chaos Space Marines, 5 T-Suns, 3 Death Guard, and 4 World Eaters. Xenos, there's 8 Necrons, 3 Orcs, 4 Tau, and 2 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 2 Tyranids, and that ubiquitous Gene Call player, Eldari.
There they are.
There's
He's
1
everywhere.
Shukari, and 7 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is Necrons topping off at 8, Eldari in very close second with 7, and then T-Suns and Sisters in third with 5. What do you think of that spread?
It's a good spread. It is kind of what I would expect. I will expect to see podiums sooner rather than later, but of course, with the swing to what is considered to be the 3 best archetypes coming out of that build being like, do you have 200 boys, the list? Do you have 15 plus mega knobs and enough war bosses, the list? And then Dread Mob, let's go, Stomper, Morkanaut, Gorkanaut, cans, that kind of stuff.
Stompa
Really?
making it in finally?
It will make it in. Is it good?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
People will play it because it is the best it's been in a generation.
I do love it when
is it
those
good
kind of
enough?
fringe units become viable because the enthusiasts get to come out and shine.
Yeah, exactly right. We are seeing the swing that we all expected and we all called for Space Marines. The swing away from Templars, 0 Templars, 5 Blood Angels. That is what we expected to see, especially seeing as the meta was getting a little bit more teched for Ironstorm. And with, of course, Black Templars getting a little bit of a knock. Blood Angels also got a bit of a knock, but they went down about the same. And that means that I think Blood Angels start to edge them out, and would not be surprised to see that become the theme for the next couple of months, which I'm more happy to see. I'm much more happy to see angry people calling me Horace running at me than guys. I'm just going to sit over there. And
do I
pretend
have
I'm
some
not.
experiences for you?
Yeah, legitimately. The Ironstorm list is a guard list as far as I'm concerned. It's a guard. It's a leaf blower. from ages gone past.
Yep.
Us older gentlemen with the greys in our beard remember the leaf blower. That is the Ironstorm list, and now we're starting to get back to more of an all comers, which I think is cool. Bile Preds, get them. Let's go.
But also Bile Preds.
Yeah, Orcs a little bit on the rise. We'll get one of the Orc lists to unpack from this one. But still very good representation from Chaos at this event. As you can see, Chaos and Xenos being the two most populated super factions, which doesn't say a lot at a 64-player event, but 64 is a good microcosm of a meta. It's kind of the perfect one to look at, because as you get higher, you start to see more of the skews towards the top of the meta. Whereas in smaller events, you can really see some of the faction nuances of a certain area kind of take their flavor. One Deathwatch shouted out in the chat as well. What a lad. And one Custodes also, what a lad. I was remiss. I went and did all these ones, and then I was like scratching my head, being like, I really like to know what detachment the Custodes are taking, but I didn't have time to go and check.
Well, thankfully, people can follow along in BCP, especially, I don't know if we mentioned that recently, but you can actually check in BCP for the events that we're talking about and track, how we were calling or what we predicted the event was going to be like, if you care to, over the course of the weekend.
Absolutely. Into that top list that I have pulled out, it is, of course, with Orcs being injected into this meta, we're going to hold no punches, pull no boys, and we're going to give you a little bit of a look in at one of the better Bully Boys lists at this event. There are 3 lists, all 3 running. One of them is running the Green Tide, or the boys list.
200 boys.
But that one looked very similar to what we would have expected from a Orc list previously. So
someone that had a lot of boys.
Yeah.
So.
yes, someone had a lot of boys. This is Joshua Schmitz. I think I got it on the second try. And he is running Bully Boys, of course, for his Orcs. He's got Gazkul and Snickrot. I am all upon the Snickrot train. I think Snickrot is the Calidus assassin for Orcs and could probably make every single list. He just justifies his spot so well. 2 war bosses. One has the big gob. 2 war bosses in Mega Armor, which has the teleporter. Zodrog, which I think is also an absolute house. He is so good for the points. 10 boys, 2 trucks, and a battle wagon. And of course, the battle wagon is going to turn around some conglomerate of knobs. 20 and 10 Gretchen. Of course, the 20 man will go with Snickrot, with Zodrog. Get all the infiltrated goodness, get the reactive move, get all the nonsense. And then you have 5/5/2 Mega Knobs. The 2 man is probably going to be Gazkul's bodyguards for this game, maybe in the battle wagon. And then
I think that's the only thing, like, that's what it can only hold.
Yeah.
To get Gazkul into Mega Knobs, I think is.
Yeah. You could put a whole nother unit of Mega Knobs and then a unit in it. Or you can have Gaz.
Or that,
Gaz is essentially like Redemptor Dreadnought. 2x5 knobs and 2x5 Storm Boys. So 2x5 regular knobs is actually less than I usually expect to see from Bully Boys list. I actually really rate the regular knobs in this list. But if you are taking Gaz, you want to have the 3rd unit of Mega Knobs. You absolutely want to give that guy the protection, the insulation. Otherwise, he's just like numero uno every anti-tank gun.
Do you think there's actually only good use for 2 Mega Knobs in a list from what you're saying?
Sorry?
You're saying that if you only want the 3rd one if you have Gazkul. Are you saying you normally don't want to have all 3 Mega Knob squads?
No. You want 3 Mega Knob squads, but taking Gaz necessitates a few less in the 2-man.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, switches the points up a bit. And taking Gaz, of course, means you want to take the battle wagon. Battle wagon might always be the best choice for everybody as well. You might want to take that out, get some more regular knobs, get another truck package. But to each their own. I don't think there's a wrong way to play the sliding scale of knobs and Mega Knobs plus war bosses. I don't think that's a wrong answer. You just take as many as you got in your collection and you're going to have a good time. How do you boys feel about this list? Because I think this is a great first press Bully Boys list. I think it's really good.
No, I actually really like it. And I'm always a fan of the 2x5s, like the knobs as well, because I like being able to throw out one unit of knobs or whatever close combat unit is in a truck and still have another one and waiting to be able to do it again. I like that play. Like I used to do that all the time with GSC, so that's my style of play. I love that. I think that's a great way to play them.
I like that it still gets like 5 legitimate terrifying hammer units in the Mega Knobs and the knobs, but it also has, 4 legitimate utility choices in the 2 units of Gretchen, one being very big, and then 2 units of 5 Storm Boys to go and get your cards. I think this is a good balance that this has been struck by Joshua, and I like this list a lot.
What I see, time and time again, playing, getting ready for some of these tournaments coming up this year, is having enough stuff in your list to make those trades is like where you can just kind of keep focusing on the, you said the cards, but the flips of like going out, and you have to sometimes go out and do something to put yourself in harm's way, and you've got enough. This seems like a good mix of list of to push one direction to distract your opponent to have to deal with them while these other things go around and scoop those points for you.
Absolutely the same. We've seen similar, like this is the similar kind of balance that we see from a Space Marine list, where you will have, you know, a couple units of Death Company or you know, Blade Guard, whatever your unit, your merely punchy unit of choice, even chosen in the Chaos Space Marines list. It's a very similar balance there, where you want a minimum of 4, sometimes up to 6 or 7 merely trading punchy units that can all kind of spike up with the right buffs and the right stratagem support. But then you need to have, I think 4 is the absolute minimum utility units that I want in armies these days. And of course, the trucks can be pseudo utility units. Once they've delivered the knobs into battle, they can go off and, you know, deploy teleport homers and do all sorts of stuff. So I think
people won't want to be wasting time dealing with. I say wasting time, you know, but they want to divert resources to do something like take out a truck.
Comment in the chat, he could probably only find 4 boxes of Mega Knobs. I mean, well, when you add it up, it's only 12 Mega Knobs. So how many did come in the box? Is it
it's 3 in a box?
3 in a box.
Yeah. So that tells you he was able to get 4 boxes of Mega Knobs, no more, no less, because they are pretty much sold out.
In this specific instance, though, I think he's making some deployment choices and some capacity choices here. But yeah, that's probably a good spot.
Yeah, agree. And I mean, the thing with the bully boys, it is susceptible to being put in prison. And what we say put in prison, as in like walled off by nonsense, like gargoyles and stuff. And then you're just like not going very far, very fast. And so that necessitates you have to have the trucks. So if you go first, if they're going to wall you off, well, they cover the whole board, because you just zoom out and take up all the staging points. So yeah, I think it's really good. And Snickrot as well is not to be underestimated. Snickrot is a house. So good for 85 points.
Yeah, good to know. I mean, I think that's Snickrot's like one a cool figure, and if people can work him into list, I do like all the characters chosen here for all the utilities, and then of course just the beaten face. Like these war bosses have a utility beyond just their own particular stat line, which is nice too.
Correct. One of them totes the teleporter, so there's going to be 5 Mega Knobs in reserve that you have to screen for, otherwise they're going to ingress Wa and then advance and charge straight into your jugular. So
Wa again.
Yeah, and then why again? So yeah, it brings X Factor as well, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the only list we got pulled out for this one, and we have a couple more minutes to talk about. But before we get to that point, we're going to pick the faction or the player that we think is going to win this thing, come away with the gold. Well, that's what we hope for. Then we rank ourselves on the after show. So we do a second show after this one, which is only available to tiers, I think second tier and above on our Patreon, where we kind of score ourselves to see how well we did with our predictions.
Exactly right. And it's been a wild couple of months, and it's only going to be a wild couple of months. Orcs and now Chaos Space Marine is going to be injected in, and Tau finally getting, you know, their points and getting full play across the world. They've been played in some small, you know, RTTs here and there being allowed to play, but they're going to get straight in, and there's going to essentially be 3 new codexes hitting the landscape in just the next couple of weeks. It's going to be really exciting. Paul, what would you like?
This is an interesting podium too, with the factions. Just like look at
it really
the representation, and you know, with 8 Necrons is what we expect to see. The Eldari, that's actually, I think, an interesting outlier. But then Thousand Suns and Adepts of Sororitas at that 5, considering that, I mean, that's some chunk of this percentage here. And the Adepts of Sororitas have been doing really well recently. I'm going with Adepts of Sororitas.
Good choice, I think. Dustin, what would you like?
Orcs.
Straight for it. I'm going to go for the Eldar. Yeah, I'm going to go for the Eldari. Going first on the right mission with just the endless, like, 5 model value units, I think can be quite good into lists like this. But the Necrons is the iffy one. It can be quite rough into Necrons at times.
We'll see how we did. In that Patreon show, we also pull out like the top 10 list. We also pull out the top finishing list. If we didn't happen to cover them over the course of the main show. So there's lots of cool stuff to do over there. I mean, check it out if it is your thing. Next event we're going to talk about is the Vanguardians Assemble from Bristol, Great Britain. 48 players, 12 teams of 4. Cool.
Other way around.
What's that?
4 teams of 12?
No, it is 12 teams of 4.
Oh,
never mind.
I was like, what? I mean,
so
I'm cool with any format.
Around in the notes, but it's the right way around on the what you're seeing in the. Yeah, never mind. Ignore me.
Look,
I'm not here.
Even if it was, I'd have figured it out. I'm a professional.
It's true.
That's right.
And I also just read what's right in front of me. So,
We do that as well.
but I do like a four-player team
Yeah.
tournament format, 5-round event, which is pretty cool. What are we going to see there?
For this one, we're going to be seeing the Imperial Superfaction. There are 1 Sisters of Battle, 1 Admech, 5 Astral Militarum, 2 Grey Knights, and 2 Imperial Knights. Space Marines, there's 4 Astartes, 1 Dark Angel, 2 Space Wolves. Chaos, there's 1 Chaos Space Marine, 2 T-Suns, 2 Demons, and 2 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's only 3 Necrons, 5 Orcs, 4 Tau, and a Votan. Highbind, there's 1 Tyranid and 1 Sheath Stealer Cult. I cannot believe this.
They're doing it.
Eldari, there are 6 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is Adeptus Astartes, technically topping it off with 7. And then Eldari in a very close second with 6. And then Orcs and Astra Militarum tied in third with 5. And that's with teams of 12. No faction was taken. Sorry. Teams of 12, as it's written in the prompter. I mean, 12 teams. Sorry, with 12 teams, that means nobody really took a huge majority. There's only a couple that are over the 30% mark. So that is a sign of a good meta. So
we had a great question in the chat from Dorian here. It says it's not off topic at all. Thanks for throwing in there. It's like, how are pairings done in a 4-player team event? Typically, players will play paired up. There'll be 2 players on each table, and if they do it in the Adepticon style format, is that the tournament organizers will make sure that each player plays with each other, and then the later rounds are captain's choice to where they can put the pairings of their own personal team how they want. The captains do have to play each other if there's in the Adepticon format. I don't know that this is the format here, but I have to assume it's 2 tables of 2 players each.
So pretty much the 4-player format that I believe they'll likely be using is usually the champions format, where you have your 4 pick and then you put down your champ. And they put down their champ, so they're playing each other no matter what, but you don't know who that is until the others are sorted. And so then you both put up 1, and then they put 2 into you, and you got to pick. So really, it's a game of guess what their champions are going to be.
Oh, you think they're going to be 1v1 here?
Down first?
Yeah, a lot of the time they put the champ. Well, over here in Australia, we put our champs down first.
Well,
so
you do things backwards, so that doesn't mean much. Let's be honest here, right?
That's true.
Because really. From what I've seen, because we've done some here too, and you both put down your defender first, and then you pick your 2 to go into that, and then whoever's left is still the champion.
It's just auto champ. It's the same difference, right?
No,
we do that with 3
you have 3 guys to put down instead of.
Oh, do you guys flip your defenders?
Yeah,
and then put in the 2.
Yeah,
so it is a little different. Yeah. So suffice to say, Dorian, who knows?
We don't know. I think all of that is to say we all had different opinions.
When I see 4-player teams, I do divert to like the Adept, because like it is, and we don't, and I guess we should. I apologize for not knowing that and having the perfect information here, but it's fun to play next to a player, so I kind of assume you kind of take that opportunity when you can.
I like it.
It is fun. It is very fun. Little wacky at times.
It's a little
but
wacky.
That adds flavor. I think it adds to it.
The list here, if these are 2,000 point list each,
they are.
Then that would probably yield to what you were talking about.
Well, let's go into it. We have a Stun Guard, which is the list we've pulled out. Sorry, the team we pulled out, rather. They've got a 4-pack of Orcs, Tau, Grey Knights, and Space Wolves. And the Space Wolves is an Ironstorm, which is a little on the interesting side. But the other 3 are bangers. In fact, this Tau list is terrifying, and I can't believe I haven't seen it till now, because I think it's a banger. Orcs is first up with Bully Boys, not too dissimilar to the one we already read out, so it almost might be a core list forming here, because he's got Snickrot and Zodrog, but it doesn't have Gaz. 2 War Bosses on just regular, and then 3 War Bosses in Mega Armor. The unit of 10 and the unit of 10 Gretchen. Of course, the 20 to go with Zodrog. 6/5/5 Mega Knobs, so almost max out. 2 off max.
Loving that.
Yeah, 2x5 regular knobs, 3x5 Storm Boys, and 3 trucks. I even think there's a Squig Buggy in here. If I forgot to list it down, a Rocket Truck Squig Buggy.
Hey, they're the new Basilisk, man, or the new Night.
They hit on 6s, yeah. You just like,
but
please
they
give
hit,
me a
and
6.
then you slowed. Come on.
Yeah, if you get a 6, they will slow you. Correct. But it could be huge. I think it's huge in the mirror match, is what I was looking at.
Yep.
When you guys are advancing unimpeded, and then one of their units in the mirror is -2/2/2, is actually
that one huge unit they were going to break you with or try to combine assault with. Yep.
The next list is Tau Carrion, and of course, this is the previous codex. New codex should be coming in next week. Absolutely. Well, there's no reason for it not to be next week. But this list, like I said, I'm surprised I hadn't seen this list previously, because as soon as I read this out, I'm like, holy wow, this is amazing, with a bit of table selection. Colstar and Crisis Commanders, 3 units of 2 broadsides. So just 3 units of 2, which I think is terrifying, and still has a max unit of crisis suits, which is still a 6, but now they're going to be 3s. 2 ghost kills to set the objectives and not die. 3x2 Tetras, rest in peace, and 3x5 Vespid. And by rest in peace, I mean die.
I agree with that.
Not sorry.
No bias here.
No bias.
Not
at all.
sorry to see that. I'm sorry to see the Yavanna and Ravana go, because those models are sick, but the Tetras. I didn't think they looked that good, and were just problematic as hell. Edition after edition.
And they're
so
fine.
Powerful.
Stealth suits are fine for what they were doing before.
Yeah, but this list is amazing. The Grey Knights is a teleport strike force, a little bit more body heavy than we used to see with the just Dread Knights all the way. Triple Librarian in 2 units of 10 Termies and 10 Paladins, and then 3 Dread Knights, and there's 5 strikes in there as well. And then lastly, we have that Space Wolves Ironstorm. Bjorn, 3 Redemptors. 2 Repulsor Executioners, 2 Vindicators, and a Calidus Assassin. And then, of course, you got some little bits and pieces.
Seems good.
And such. It does seem good. It does seem very good.
I know this. People listen to this too. We only cover like the basic archetype of it too. But I'm curious: is the only reason he's Space Wolves is for Bjorn, or is there other like?
I believe so.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. No Wolfen, no Thundercav, no Wolf Lords.
Did their Tech Priest still go on Wolf Lord? Like.
No. He does have a Tech Marine in here, which I didn't bother listing down, because you don't really you see Ironstorm, you assume they're in there. So I didn't.
Well, I couldn't remember if they got some advantage in the Space Wolf index that
maybe. I'd be curious to know the reason behind it, because there's obviously a reason.
Bjorn is. He's double vect. This is a double vect list. So, of course, has the Calidus Assassin, and Beyond the Fellhounded. Once per battle, after your opponent uses a stratagem, this model can use his ability. If he does, to the end of the battle, increase the stratagem, the cost.
Well, there is going to be a lot of Armor Contempt out there. The Bully Boys have
Armor of Contempt. Yep, exactly right. I think that's a great pick. And, of course, he's half damage with a 5 Feel No Pain and a 2+ armor save. So he's pretty rough to handle. And then if he makes it into combat, 6 attacks at 12, 2, 3 with lethal hits? Seems okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. So that's a very stable list. That's a very my army's just minus or half damage, because I'm going to play the Redemptors and Bjorn up forward, and then have the back line, or it just jams Vindicators onto objectives and makes you deal with them, because they're really quite well pointed for the Vindies at the moment. I do like them, but this 4-pack is pretty sick. I do think that the only list here that really wants to go up every game is the Tau. The Tau need the table. Needs a table pick for sure. The 3x2 broadsides is too many points to have in strategic reserve, because they're 180 each. They're 360. Yeah, they're too many points to have all 3 in reserve. So one of them or 2 of them are going to have to start on the board, which means you have to have some lanes on it. So that's the one that I'd see as the put up as the first defender. But apart from that, it could kind of be anything. Could be the Grey Knights, because they just got even scores.
It's interesting for that one too, because especially in the 4-man too, it's not guaranteed if you put them down as the defender that they're going to have table pick, because only one of the defenders gets it. If they have the roll off, and you're your defender down, you could be in a tough spot, right? I actually am curious how you maneuver that to get them, because you're right, they do need table pick. They do.
Yeah, and they do need it more than the Space Wolves, I believe, because if all else fails, I'm just going to walk these 4 Dreadnoughts at you. For sure. It's a problem. It's just a problem. But yeah. Great 4-pack there. The only thing, I would say the only thing is, if you swapped out the Space Wolves for Necrons, it would probably be a little bit more perfect, but still a fantastic 4-pack.
Here in a team event, we don't pick the team we think is going to win. We pick the faction we think is going to get the highest battle points over the course of the weekend, which can be tricky.
Very hard.
It's very hard. Let's be real, because an army that normally doesn't do well could be in the bottom tables and getting every perfect matchup the entire tournament and just score 20s. So
So it's actually it's usually more often than not one of the top teams that gets the number 1 spot on this, which always makes it so much more difficult. Who would you like, Paul?
I'll go with Astra Militarum.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
All that talk about table picks and how difficult it is with a little bit of with the 4-person team.
What would you like, Dustin?
I'm going Orcs again. I'm full in the greenskins this week.
I'm going to go the Grey Knights for this one.
Grey Knight's been doing pretty well over the course of the last
Very well.
several weeks, for sure.
One more event, gents.
One more.
Next event we're talking about is
I'll see if you can pronounce this.
I know. The Liga Adeptus Metropolitanos from Mexico City,
Smashed it.
Mexico.
Nailed it.
32 players, 5-round event.
What you got? What you got, Adam? Find me a more difficult event name.
Please don't. That was
But this is so cool. A nice size GT 2 day in Mexico City. Absolutely fantastic for that community.
Yeah, we love this.
digging all that. What are we going to see there?
I'm curious to see what they have in this meta. Down here's the Imperial Super Faction. There are 2 Sisters of Battle, 1 Custode, 3 Astral Military, 1 Imperial Knight, Space Marines, there's 1 Astartes, and 1 Dark Angel. Not big Space Marine fans down here from the looks of it.
Yeah, no.
Chaos,
Nope.
there's 2 Chaos Space Marines, 2 T-Suns, 1 Death Guard, 2 Demons, and 2 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's only 2 Necrons, but 5 Orcs.
Yeah.
Hive Mind, 3 Tyranids, and unfreaking believable 1 Gene Stealer cult.
It's the most consistent one-player faction in the freaking world.
This
It's not
is
even close.
unreal.
It's not even close.
It's unreal. Everywhere in the world, it doesn't matter.
One. No more, no less.
Yeah.
One.
That's all it needs. Hope and the uprising
Oh
starts with
my
1.
god.
Yeah. Just keep the candle burning. It's so good.
And then Eldari, there's 3 Eldari, which means the faction podium's Orcs topping it off with 5, and then Astra Militarum, Nids, and Eldari in second with 3, and then a bunch of 2s. Bravo, Mexico. Wow.
Bravo indeed.
Bravo.
Yeah, bravo.
This is
They are
incredible
definitely on the
spread.
front foot. They're definitely on the front foot of the Orc meta. That's the first,
Yeah.
podium position for Orcs so far since their codex came out. And Mexico moving and shaking. Really don't like Space Marines.
No, they really
Like,
don't. You know what? I support
Really
this
don't like Space
decision.
Marines.
I support this. And they still
Yeah,
have the
I mean-
G-Stealer cult player. So, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, it is wild. Not a huge fan of Necrons either, by the looks of things. Still got a single Custodes player. What a lad. Well done. And the Knights are well represented as well. Got singles and Knights. No Admech is interesting here. Was it no World Eaters is interesting here.
Yeah,
also.
no World Leaders was kind of interesting. I don't think it was any World Leaders in the last event either.
Yeah. No Votan or Tau as well. But I mean, 32 players, it's not unusual to have some of the more populated
But
factions
I
be
will
low
point out
or
again,
0.
There's no Tau, but there is a G-Stealer cult player. So
There is just well, they can't not have one. If someone
That's true.
make the meme of the no homers. We're allowed to have one. No Gene Stealers.
no G-Stealers.
It's a one. Every city is a one cult city. They don't mix. There's one. There's one Gene Stealer cult. But anyway, the player in attendance that I decided to pull out only went by Galvez. It's an Astra Militarum
Nice.
player because Astra Militarum is actually in a very interesting place, and I wanted to start getting my finger on the pulse of the no artillery lists, which are going to become a lot more prevalent as we go. And I do think this is a great place to start. Combined regiment, of course, Lord Solar, a platoon command squad, 2 demolition tank commanders, demolishers rather, and Ursula Creed, 10 Catachans.
That's my favorite tank commander configuration right now.
Sure.
Yeah. Mine too. It's so good. 10 Catachans, 2x10 Death Corps infantry, and then 10 regular infantry, of course, to go with Creed and the mortar to get the pop off and the extra AP. 3 Chimeras, so more heavy on the transports, which I do expect to see now that we're unlimbered from having to just play meat shields in front of 1,000 points of indirect. 10 Rough Riders, which I am so on top of Rough Riders. Everybody, Rough Riders are good. At 120, Rough Riders are great. Still taking 10 Kassakin, which is probably the right number. 2 Rogel Dawns. And to give the back line, give the oomph, and then 2 Scout Sentinels. And I actually quite like this list. This list is actually a list that's kind of everywhere all the time. 10 Rough Riders, 3 Chimeras are going to be all over the table, threatening, burning, taking objectives. 2 Rogel Dawns and the 2 tank commanders give you your 4 battle tanks to just sit in lanes and be like, you can't really come at me. I'm just going to blow you up. And
Close enough. Like, the Rough Riders got wide bases. When you turn them
Yeah.
sideways or whatever, you can
absolutely.
create a bunch of some obstacles for your opponent to have to get through.
Correct. And of course, Lord Solar attaching to the command squad, which attaches to any of the Catachans or the Death Corps or the infantry, can then order them because Lord Solar gets the Master Vox orders, so he can be ordering them from the other side of the table as well as ordering the Rogel Dawns, which is really cool. And then the Rough Riders die. 2 CP, bring them back, baby. Just re-rack them. Let's go again. Because they're not hard to kill, but they usually go out, kill something, because you can +3 move, and they can just yeet out, annihilate something, and then get blown up and just come straight back.
They are very much in your opponent's face. They're also like bigger than the rest of the models in your army too. So if there's
Yeah.
anybody who figures like, I don't know what to shoot at, let me shoot at that thing right there. It's closest and it's larger or whatever. Like it's
Yeah.
not long for this world. To be able to re-rack them is a pretty big benefit.
I really like the Rogal Dawns. I'm still of the opinion that more Lehman Russes is better than Rogal Dawns, because you do kind of get like almost 2 Russes to a Dawn now, that they're like you can get a decent Russ chassis for 150, 160 points. I do think that is slightly better, but then you run into, do you have enough orders to get them the synergies? Do you have enough ifs and buts and all these things and stuff? And I do not know. We have no idea what the terrain in Mexico is like. They could be full WTC, they could be ITC, they could be G-dub. We have no idea. So maybe this is a concession to this gentleman knowing a little bit more about the terrain than we do.
So I'm looking at the special abilities. With the Lehman Russ and the Tank Commanders, they've got different abilities themselves. And the Lehman Russ, I'm sorry, the Rogal Dorn ability is the ablative plating. Once per battle, when an attack is allocated to this model, you can change the damage characteristic of that attack to 0. So maybe that's what's working for him here, is some of that withstanding the initial barrage.
Yeah, and of course you have defensive
wounds too.
Exactly right. They're 2-up save as well. And of course, it's a big base. You can pretty much always make sure that you're poking out at an angle where any legitimate unit, because you'll know what legitimate units they have that can threaten the Dawn. You're going to get cover against them. You can pop smoke. You can minus damage. There's a lot of ways to make a Rogal Dawn really hard to handle. Very akin to, Armor Contempt and Poppy Smoke on a Land Raider. They're pretty much the same chassis, just about.
Just thinking about that's the only thing that kind of keeps me staring at the Rogals as well sometimes. But I agree with you, is that the Lehman Russ for points and stuff on the table has been winning out. But maybe as this meta shifts and changes, that ability starts to kind of shine a little bit better.
What I'm thinking is the case is that this gentleman knows, okay, 2 Lehman Russes and 2 Rogal Dawns is the exact amount that I can make sure I can hide in my deployment zone on this terrain.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to take 6 Lehman Russes, there's no way they don't get to shoot 1 or 2 of them turn 1. And so that's my feel. My feel is that this guy's just like, logistics of this army get too awkward. I have to start putting Lehman Russes in reserve, and then they start screening them, and all sorts of things happen. So yeah, I think this is a great place to start for a new guard meta. Which I'm all upon, and a lot of the choices here I really, really rate. But time to pick some winners. Paul, you want to go first again?
Ooh, I gotta go. Sorry, Dust. I gotta go with orcs on this one. This would be a
5 orcs. It's hard,
real thick in the green.
Yeah, hard to pick against him. Dustin, what would you like?
You know what? I'm gonna back the Astra Militarum. Let's
just rain in my parade.
Hey, Paul rained on mine, so.
It's what? Because
we're doing.
Oh, because none of us were going to pick orcs.
No, none of us were going to pick orcs. Come on.
I am once again going to be a filthy knife here and pick Eldar. I think, because now that my other pick's gone, I'm just going to go. I will always back Eldar, unfortunately, to get a podium.
Never count them out.
So.
I mean,
for sure.
Exactly right. Exactly right. If anything has taught me anything in my 15 years in the game, is that Eldar is the safest pick.
That's it. That's the last event we're going to cover in this show. Remember, this normally we'd actually have a slot for our sponsor as well, but since we don't, we'll sponsor ourselves right now. Check us out on Patreon. Like, share, subscribe if you have not already. Those are some hassle-free ways you can interact with the show. That try to tell the algorithms that you should come hang out with us. You should watch it and you listen to us and all this other kind of stuff. Patreon is a way to support the show with a few bucks every month. And remember that tier 2 and above gets you access to that second show that we do, which is a recap, a rundown of everything that we just did. Get like another 20, 30 minutes of stuff to listen to every week.
Straight up, we look back on the events that we have covered, tell you what won, what didn't win, what made up the top 10. We pull out one spicy list, and also we give each other hell for our poor picks or great picks.
It's a fun time. It is a fun time. And now we're at the part of the show. This is a bit of a palate cleanser. If we've just spent about 45 minutes or so going over the crunchy stats, the numbers, the factions, the ins and outs, predicting, using our big brains. Now we get to do something a little fun. It's a rapid fire segment we call the Fuego Rapido, where we give ourselves a series of topics and a time clock to run down. And then once that clock is stopped, we abandon the topic, never to return to it again, unless Patreon demands it.
Yes.
Which has happened.
Marvel Cinematic Universe, you say?
That's the
today's theme.
Today's theme is the Marvel Cinematic.
Sometimes it's a theme. Sometimes there is, at least not an apparent theme to these. But I'm excited.
Are we going to do the DC Cinematic Universe next?
Yes, we are.
Rip.
We'll see.
Ripperoonie.
We'll see.
I
We'll
got
see.
lots of opinions.
This is of course.
Me
So
too.
this is including both the movies and series on Disney Plus. All right. So anything.
That's a lot. That's a lot of
It's
film.
a lot.
That's
It's
a lot of
of
content.
stuff. So
Wow.
we got a lot to talk about here. A lot of content to cover. So let's see what we got to do. Number 1 is
We need 4 minutes.
the best villain. 4 minutes.
Oh,
I
this
mean,
is
it's
actually-
Thanos, hands down.
Is it though? I don't like him.
Hands
I don't like him.
down.
He is a poor man's dark side. We have to.
Exactly.
We have
What?
to.
It
Yeah,
is.
man.
It's true.
He's a
Thank
poor
you
man's
for
dark
saying
side.
that. Now I don't feel as dumb for
Look,
thinking it.
let me tell you 3 or 4 things Thanos has going for him.
Okay, let's hear it. If you
Um,
say any
he did
Infinity
not-
Stones in there.
So
You can,
no, I won't even
Infinity
mention the
Stone
Infinity
number 1
Stones.
through 5.
I'll say, yeah. The dude has never said the words mother box.
That's
point
true.
1.
Oh,
Point 2, this one planet that defeated him, he didn't just forget where it was. And then point
Yeah.
3, his original lieutenant, what was his name? Ronan, not Steppenwolf. So all three things going for Thanos above Darkseid. But
Roman
I'll
was
yield
a
the
bit
floor.
of a Roman was a bit of a B though. He's like the second he had a chance to be a bit of a yeah.
Oh,
I did
technically
this. He absolutely
Loki
did.
would have been his first hand in the movies or whatever. So
Well, I was going to contend with you and say, in as far as the cinematic universe goes, I think Loki's the best villain.
I actually would agree with that.
Yeah, that's my one. He's the perfect full arc story villain, as far as I'm concerned. The original Avengers villain, and ongoing through numerous iterations, whereas Thanos essentially popped up in a post-trailer scene once, and we didn't hear about him again for like a decade. And then 2 fantastic movies. Infinity War, I think, is vastly better than Endgame, but that's me. Time travel, why bother? But they could have done so many better things. But Loki, throughout it, was a consistent, amazing villain, phenomenal acting and casting, and his own series was
Oh yeah,
yeah, can't argue with
Fan-freaking-tastic.
all those
yeah,
points.
for sure.
He also never said the words mother box.
That's also true. Another thing he got going for him here.
Fuego.
And of course, the next one we have to do the best hero.
This is tough. It's hard not to love
No.
Spider-Man, but
Yes, no
but,
one dare say
America's
Captain
ass.
America.
Oh,
Don't you dare say Captain
dare.
America. Oh, he sucks so much. Mary Sue, eat your heart out. Just like, yeah, really dislike Captain America. I think
You mean
Spider-Man
the cinematic universe or just in general?
in general.
Okay.
I think
So
he
remember, you
sucks.
got to think of the cinematic universe. Maybe you like what's his name?
yeah, no,
So-
Iron Man is
Iron Man's very good, but Iron Man is a nepo baby, and that takes him down a couple of rungs for me, despite his brilliance. I do like Spider-Man quite a lot. I like the Spider-Man pick quite a lot because he's beautifully flawed. He's
it's
not
hard,
rich.
it's
He's not.
hard.
Doesn't come from wealth. Doesn't come from anything else. He's gotten where he's become a great hero via hard work and just being a good dude. I
My
think that's
only
very-
knock on Spider-Man is that they made him too reliant upon Tony Stark.
Yeah,
in
that's
the
the
movie.
only
That's
reason
me
I
too.
kind of
Me
go
too.
away from him
Yeah.
because of that.
But he,
Yeah.
amazing performances, and it's hard not to.
It's hard not to pick Spider-Man because he's the most relatable. He's 100% like the common man superhero because he's just a freaking delivery driver, like eating it every day, just like working his ass off, and then ruining his life by like his own personal life by helping people. And it's a beautiful duality. And they did, like, Stan Lee knocked that one out of the park with the writing. Smashed it.
Yeah,
Fantastic villains as well. Like,
he does have
they're
really good villains.
a hero's only as good as their villains, in my opinion. Like Batman without Joker kind of sucks, but Batman with Joker is like the best of all time.
Yeah, the Rogues
Because he's the best
Gallery
villain of
for
all time.
Spider-Man is strong, and
Yeah.
I mean, even
Who's
like
the best
Michael
Spider-Man?
Keaton as
Ooh,
Vulture was pretty cool.
It was really good. Michael Keaton as anything is really good.
It's
So
true.
let's
Let's be real.
the dude can do no wrong.
Beetlejuice too, baby.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. All right. Next up, rank your top 3 movies or series from the cinematic universe.
Should we do movies first, then series?
Sure.
This could almost be 2 questions.
Yeah, it could be 2 questions, but it's not.
Okay. Infinity War, number 1 for me. Winter Soldier, number 2.
Yes, Winter Soldier was really good.
Winter Soldier, I think, on a given day might even be number 1.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I was so floored when I saw Infinity War that they could have so many stories running concurrently and do them all justice. I was just very impressed by how they just were able to put that story together. And that's what I think puts it over for me. But man, Winter Soldier just came out of freaking nowhere.
Yeah, that was so good.
Very, very almost lame premise and just in freaking incredible storytelling.
It is a silly story. I mean, come on, everybody knows Bucky. Come on.
But still, they did so well with it. But up number 3 is very debatable, boys. What do you think?
Number 3 is it's hard. I would agree with the first 2 for sure.
Both Infinity War movies are like the culmination of one of my favorite story arcs of all time. I've based many decisions, around for various like role playing games and that kind of stuff based off what would happen in this type of scenario, kind of thing. It's such a good storyline.
So first Avengers is a possible contender, but I think it's first Iron Man.
Really?
Oh yeah.
First Iron Man, I think
set the stage.
Incredible. It's the MCU only became a thing because the first Iron Man was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
you could arguably put that at number 1 slot too. I mean, that's
actually you could, right? You could, right?
I know over 15 years or whatever in all the movies, and I know some of them like don't ring well with everyone, but as a body of work, it's pretty spectacular.
I will say Iron Man 2 and 3 suck, but Iron Man 1 is a gold standard, phenomenal.
As a quick aside, I'm not a fan most of the time when they do a movie and they got the hero and then they just give you the opposite of the hero as the bad guy.
Yeah.
But in Ironmonger, I didn't mind it so much because everything else was so good. But then they kind of turn around and do, Whiplash, who played by a great actor, but then you got this whole backdrop of the same fighting him.
I always felt like Ironmonger was perfect because it was everything that Tony was fighting against inside himself. Everything he'd been before was represented in front of him, like all the money grubbing, like doing the wrong thing, trying to do the right thing for the wrong reasons, and all the bad motives of what he was making and producing, just like in front. Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was perfect for an opener.
An opener with a hero and then the villain is just their opposite. I'm like, this again. I'll still watch it, but there's a part of me that's like, couldn't you just do something a little bit better?
Yep.
KR, we're asking me where Captain Australia is. It's right here, baby.
You're looking at him. You're looking at him.
That's it. Don't make me take my hair out.
It makes sense for your shield to come back because it's probably a boomerang.
It is. See? Well, it is Crocodile Dundee is Captain Australia. There is no. It's no. Right. I mean, debatably Steve Irwin, rest in peace, was Captain Australia.
Okay, yeah.
But Crocodile Dundee most likely.
Okay. I'm done with that. We went over on Fuego on this one, but I think it was worth it.
Do we want to just
topics a little bit?
Do you want to refresh the timer and we do it again for the series?
We didn't even talk about the series, so I guess we could do that.
We didn't.
All right.
We didn't.
Do it. Refresh it. Go. Series.
Yeah. Look, Hawkeye is awesome.
Hawkeye
impressed.
It was pretty good.
I didn't expect
of the ones that I would watch again. I mean, the ones that I would like I'm kind of like eager, like I should go watch this again. I haven't done that with many of the series.
Loki would be number 1 or number 2 for me. I'm not quite sure if that's better or worse than Hawkeye. That's probably very debatable.
I really liked at least the first season of Daredevil.
Yeah, and I guess that counts now.
Yes,
does that count? Because I liked that one.
Yeah,
Punisher too. Like, look, if we're counting all that
Punisher.
stuff, it's gonna be a crowded list.
Yes.
Hey, only 3 guys. Only 3. Let's go. I think Loki's going to make that top 3 for sure. I don't know where, but Loki's up there.
Me either.
I'm going to say Loki and keep it nebulous of whether I'm talking about season 1 or season 2. So we can put it on the list. I'm saving room here. I'm shaving.
Okay, that makes sense.
100% I do think Hawkeye makes it. And then I really like the Punisher. I really like the Punisher, but I don't know if it's a top 3. Might just be my preference thing.
I've liked him, and just as an aside, I didn't expect to like Echo as much as I did. Like Echo
Yeah, true.
was really good. Like I
Did you guys like
enjoyed it.
Did you guys like Moon Knight?
I haven't
Yes.
actually watched Moon Knight yet.
Yeah. I think Oscar Isaac is a great actor who
Yeah.
has had some questionable direction and roles.
Yes, yes. I feel like Moonlight could have been a lot cooler, a lot better. They did the character pretty well, but the rest of it just felt lacking. Like the Moon Knight character felt like he did okay with it, with what he had, with the duality of the, you know, the kind of mental health aspect to it. But the rest of the story just didn't have enough for me.
Yep. So Loki and Hawkeye, are we agreeing on that?
We're agreeing on that one.
Like,
And I think
and then we're not necessarily talking
I'm
about
saying
Daredevil.
Daredevil, but
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm happy to go with Daredevil. First season of Daredevil was sick.
WandaVision was good. I love the style.
Oh, WandaVision was good. Yeah,
it was. WandaVision annoyed me though.
Yeah,
but we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some stuff to talk about with WandaVision, but I think it was also very difficult to make that show the way they wanted to make that show.
Yeah,
in the confine, but whatever. It's a different topic.
Different topic for different fuego. Next up, eventually, there it is. Which one was the most accurate adaptation of a comic book storyline?
From the movies?
Ooh, because they didn't. So Infinity War played out very similarly to the storyline, but they didn't get there in any of the same way that the comic book got there. It's like the start point and the end point were the same, and everything in the middle was different.
Took out all the motivation about Lady Death, and stuff.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like
most
some of the X-Men ones too. Like the Apocalypse one wasn't. It was part of it.
Okay, I've got one for you.
Oh, okay.
The very first Fantastic Four film.
Oh wow!
Because it stank, just like the Fantastic Four sucked.
That doesn't count as part of the MCU anymore, I don't think.
Oh, I know it was like 20 years before, but man, they were stinkers. Has there been a good Fantastic Four anything yet? And is that just because the subject matter is just?
The cartoon. There has been a couple of pretty good cartoons.
No, from the movies have been. They've done it twice now, 3 times now.
Well, if we're gonna do cartoons as well, the original X-Men did have episodes that were almost frame for frame comic books. Like they did have, there's some that were completely off the wall, nothing to do with them, but their story arcs were generally perfect. Like the Age of Apocalypse story arc was virtually the comic book, right?
If I'm thinking like what is pretty much, I think Captain America is pretty close.
That is actually really true. That is very true. Actually,
Captain America
that's it.
That's the one. That's the one.
The first Avenger. Yeah, that is actually like lock it in. That's correct.
I actually I like that movie. I'm not gonna lie. That was actually one of my top 3. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, you nailed it. Hugo Weaving as Red Skull.
Hugo Weaving was just, that was beautiful. That
so
was
good. Magnificent casting. Yeah, you nailed the Paul.
Yep,
it is first.
Captain America.
It is
done.
First Captain America.
First Avenger. That's it. All right. Last but not least, which storyline character should be next?
They're doing it. They're doing it already. They're gonna have to make new movies, man.
Yeah, but it's not going to be for several years, and I think it should be now.
I want it to be now.
You do realize we completely forgot about Deadpool when we were ranking the movies.
Oh, Deadpool.
Yeah, but it's only kind of recently been starting to be considered.
MCU.
That's also true. Yeah, that's our excuse, and we're sticking with it.
Yeah. See, I like this addition in the chat by Sindri, Doctor Doom. I think a better Fantastic Four film is one based around their villains, not the Fantastic Four, where it's told from the perspective of Doctor Doom would be fantastic.
Doctor Doom is like really he's a good villain. He's a very good villain.
His slide into madness, the Jekyll and Hyde nature of the story that you could tell, I think would be really cool. You know how we saw like Suicide Squad, how it had Batman in it.
Yeah.
It could be like that, but it's Doctor Doom. That would be absolutely sick,
I would watch a Doom film.
Absolutely. Me too, man. Me too.
If I'm picking though something that we don't necessarily suspect coming, like we know X-Men are coming. What should it be? We know Fantastic Four are coming. What has been untapped?
Yeah, don't tell the same things again. I'm sick of seeing Same thing with like Spider-Man. If I have to see him get bit by a radioactive spider one more time, I'm gonna lose my
Uncle
mind.
Ben. How many times?
How many
can
times
we kill Uncle Ben?
Kill Uncle Ben?
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk about like the Midnight
All right.
Sun stuff, which is has like Ghost Rider and Blade and stuff in it. But even
Oh yeah.
that's a
Oh
that's a
yeah.
bit of
Oh,
a.
Blade.
Although we
We
do
didn't-
kind of think
Blade is
Blade's
coming
coming.
back.
Yeah.
Blade
is
coming
coming.
back. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I would love to see one more Spider-Man with Sean Bean as Uncle Ben, just to kill
Just
him
to
on
kill him
screen one more
again?
time.
This I will say though, this is the tough question for me because like all the comics that I collected have become movies. Like
Yeah.
like
Oh,
there's
wow.
not. I was
Yeah,
trying to
me
think
too.
about what's in my collection that hasn't.
They've been so complete.
Yeah.
With what they've done, there are so many X-Men, like Uncanny X-Men's and stuff like that they could do. Psylocke would be a great one.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen Psylocke.
She's got a great story. She's got a fantastic story. There are lots
Talking
of options.
about different captains. Her brother is Captain Britain, and
Captain
you know,
Canuck.
Yeah.
there is a certain like pretty cool actor that is also British and is a giant nerd. So
Yeah, there are opportunities.
wouldn't mind to see something like that, which would lead into like Excalibur, which was the
Mm,
cool story of it.
it is
Digress.
cool.
We're out of time. We're out of time.
and that's it.
Well,
Spawn.
what a great.
Oh my God! Is Nurgle Matthew? Is that correct? They're making
Spawn
Spawn
is actually
again.
coming again.
Has
Michael
to
J.
be.
White was actually really good. The movie was not, but Michael J. White was
No.
really good.
He was
I
really
think
good.
the
in
movie
Spawn.
was pretty good for its time, though.
For its time, yeah, for its time, that's true. Because we kind
I
of.
don't think back then they had.
Lately.
I don't think back then they had the budget or the ability to make that film properly. Clown was great in it though.
Yeah. Oh, John Leguizamo.
Yeah. He smashed it as well. Like the
Mhm.
casting was fantastic, but just the production was just not not what it needed to be.
Oh, when they went into hell or whatever.
Oh, it looked so
God,
bad, man.
yeah, that's
It looked like a Mortal Kombat 2 cut screen.
Yeah.
Like it looked bad. It looked so bad, dude. First Tekken stuff.
All right, everybody. That is our show for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, running down some of these events from all over the world. If you're participating in an event, especially if it's a giant one and you don't think we're going to cover it, let us know. Hit us up on the socials. Hit us up in comments. Please leave us those 5-star reviews. Consider joining us over on the Patreon network. We greatly appreciate that. Until next week, it's been a pleasure, everybody. We're actually going to be traveling next week. At least
Yeah.
some of us are going to be traveling. I don't know. Well, we'll see if we can still get the show together, but we'll try to keep people posted on our whereabouts will be.
We'll try and stitch a show together, but most likely it's going to be Dustin and a co-host who will pilot it if Dustin's up to it. But we'll definitely still try and put a show together for you.
Yeah, or come and support them. Let them know what's up.
Yes.
Keep that chat flying. That would mean a whole lot to us while we were gallivanting around the world. But it's been a pleasure, everybody. We will see y'all soon. Thanks a lot again. Good night.
Cheers.
See you next time.